When the media talks about video games, they are rarely portrayed in a positive light. Video games have often been blamed for pushing violence on our youth and encouraging a lack of a social life. Even President Trump has made his thoughts very clear on the subject, stating that,
"We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace."
This narrative push from the media has caused gamers to be looked down upon. Even my own mother was hesitant when I started showing an interest in gaming culture. But is there good to be had from video games? Well, for every major news outlet that bashes video games, you'll likely find a scientific study that proves their point otherwise. If you're an avid gamer, like me, you've probably heard the phrase, "video games will rot your brain." This is often said by parents, relatives, or even teachers. But video games have enormous potential to be a valuable tool to the education system. One example is the classic Portal series, which involves physics-based puzzles. This puzzle-solving method provides a useful way for teachers to educate their students on the basics of physics in a fun and interactive way. For a while, Portal became a favorite among elementary school teachers, so much so that the developers of the game Valve created the program Learn with Portals, which involves learning plans and building tools. This program also involves a software where students can build their own levels, referred to in-game as test chambers. This Portal-based software was so popular that it was even involved as a feature in the second game of the series. Another game that has been useful to the education system is the iconic Minecraft. This simplistic yet fun and engaging game has been a staple of video game culture for over a decade now. This virtual sandbox has encouraged an entire generation to be creative and to seek adventure. Some schools have picked up on the massive popularity of the game, and even teachers today were only kids when Minecraft first came out and are now using it as an education tool for their students. Like Valve, Mojang, the company behind Minecraft, have also realized how important their game can be to the education system. So, back in 2016, the Swedish-based company released Minecraft Education Mode, which teaches students about the periodic table and allows chemistry experiments in-game. My own 10-year-old cousin is part of a class Minecraft server, and I have to say, it's incredibly encouraging to see this newest generation so enthusiastic about learning. But what draws kids to video game-based learning? Well, psychology can provide some answers to that question. Psychologists claim that when people play video games, they enter what is referred to as the flow state, which heightens a player's ability to absorb new information. The interactive basis of video games also provides a fun and engaging way for students to learn, more so than a spoken class or video tutorial. Psychologists have also pointed out that video games help people develop problem-solving skills as well as numerous other benefits to one's mental health. Studies have shown that players of first-person shooters, such as Call of Duty and the Half-Life franchise, have increased hand-to-eye coordination and quicker reflexes. Players of these types of games also tend to be better at visual processing and are more proficient in skills such as driving and sports. So maybe it's not just a coincidence that I aced my driver's test on the first go. Humble brag. Video games don't only benefit the cognitive part of the mind, they also help with the development of one's emotional well-being. Studies have shown that players of choice-based, role-playing games have a better sense of self and heightened emotional stability. The choices that players make in games such as The Walking Dead, Life is Strange, and Skyrim affect how the story of the game plays out. This gives players a better understanding of basic social skills and helps them discern their emotional limits. For example, when I'm playing a game and I get the notification telling me that I've hurt a character's feelings, I tend to just restart the entire level, sometimes even the whole game, because I don't want to make people feel bad. Video games are even a fantastic tool for physical fitness and exercise. Games like Just Dance, Wii Fit, or the VR game Beat Saber require physical movement from the player in order to beat the game. This makes fitness fun and engaging and encourages movement and activity. Games like these also make fitness easier to access, as people who are insecure about going to a gym can now access exercise routines from the comfort of their own home. One misconception of gamers that the media pushes is that players are lazy, unhealthy, and inactive. The most notable portrayal of this being South Park's iconic World of Warcraft gamer, which shows a man who's a slob and wastes his days away at a computer. Now, there is some truth to this portrayal. There have definitely been cases of people who spend 24/7 in front of a screen. But I argue that obsessive playing to this level is mostly the fault of the player and not the game. Admittedly, video games can be addictive. Their fast-paced nature and wide range of different artistic styles make it easy for players to be lost in their worlds. But at the end of the day, it is the responsibility of the player or the player's parents to set time limits. Like, think about it. When a person binges a television show for hours on end, nobody is going to blame the television show for the viewer's inaction. So why would people do the exact opposite with video games? This gives a valuable learning and developmental tool a bad reputation and eventually diminishes its potential. Video games and video game culture have had an enormous impact on my life. I still remember being 5 years old and opening my Game Boy Advance, which I still have to this day. Over the years, I've collected a wide variety of unique games, including an original NES, a Game Boy Micro, as well as several unique and rare games. It was actually Ashley Johnson's performance in the award-winning game The Last of Us that first inspired me to pursue a career in acting. Also, multiplayer games like Among Us, Minecraft, and Portal 2's co-op mode have been a useful way to stay in contact with my cousins and relatives who live in America. Also, games that focus on moral lines, such as The Last of Us Part 2 and the Talos Principle, have inspired me to learn about philosophy and try to grow as a person. Video games are a massive media industry that won't be going away anytime soon. Their fun and engaging nature are a useful tool for the benefit of players' mental health and well-being, as well as being a unique storytelling platform. Unfortunately, due to the misinformation that has been ingrained into mainstream media, video games and gaming culture does not get the respect that it thoroughly deserves. Video games have so much potential for the education and entertainment industries if only major media outlets would give them a chance. So, I encourage you, as the audience, if you have never played a mainstream video game before, try it out. You might enjoy it, and you might even develop a passion for learning like I have.